Okay, guys, so let's talk a little bit about abstracting information from a chart record for the HPI, or History of Present Illness, or the history. So these three things make up the history. It's the history of present illness, the review of systems, and then the past medical, family, and social histories. So what we do is when we read through a chart note in the beginning, we highlight or circle items that we think are important that we can tie to these bullets in these different boxes. And I'm going to scroll down and give you an example below. Okay, I had to do it ahead of time so I could explain it. So here is an emergency department report from a physician. So we read through it once and we highlight things. So the patient's a 32-year-old G5P4 female at 36 weeks and 4 days by last menstrual period who comes into the emergency department complaining of a 4-day history of urinary frequency and urgency and cloudy urine. She's also complaining of some low back pain times 5 days. She denies burning, itching, pain with urination. She denies fever and chills. She also had some nausea and vomiting over the same period. She last vomited yesterday. She vomited twice. She states that the past Friday, 4 days ago, twice. She has not vomited today. She has had good fluid intake. She has had slightly decreased appetite, she states. She states that she has had some UTIs this pregnancy times two. Otherwise, she's had an uncomplicated pregnancy. The patient denies a history of hypertension, diabetes, and preeclampsia. She states that she had some irregular contractions, no real contractions today. She denies vaginal bleeding. She denies gush of fluid. She denies abdominal pain. She has good fetal movement, and she has not had headaches, visual changes, or abdominal pain. So that entire portion is going to be used for this history. That's the history as the patient shares it with the physician. So what we do is when we go through, we highlight. Now, of course, I drew all these lines and notes on the side to help you guys better understand. So this first thing is when we're looking at um, this section up here, this is what we're going to focus on first. We need to get 4 elements max on those, okay? So if we go back down here, we want to look, usually you can know what the problem is or the location of the problem. Like if it's a broken leg, the broken leg is the problem and the location of the problem. But in this case, she comes in complaining of, that's what we're looking at. What is the patient complaining of? She's complaining of a 4-day history of urinary frequency, which means she's going pee a lot. So that is the problem or the location of the problem. And then it says and urgency, which means she is peeing a lot and she feels like she has to go a lot all the time. And it's like, get to the bathroom right now. So that's an associated symptom of the urinary frequency. Okay. And then they say that she has cloudy urine. That is quality. Now, I've included this part of this audit sheet so that you could get an idea of what these different things are. These are some suggestions to help you get an idea of, what quality is. So quality is the character of the symptom, burning, stabbing, gnawing, fullness, or, the color of it, how it looks, how it feels. Um, there are other areas of quality in this note, but we just grab the first one we can to check off that bullet. So in this one, we have the problem, the associated symptom, the quality, and they said for 4 days. That's the duration of this problem. So we go up here and we would check off these boxes: location, associated signs, duration, and quality. And that would get us to the 4 elements. So once we have that, we stop counting for that box. We've met everything we could for that level. Then what we want to do is we want to start focusing on the review of systems. We cannot use anything that we've already counted, but we can count other things that we did not use towards the review of systems. So for this example, it says she's G5P4 female at 36 weeks and 4 days. That's a pregnancy. And so we know that from her GU that she's pregnant, so we can check that box. And we go down a little further, and it says she complains of some low back pain times 5 days. We can go up here and do musculoskeletal. Okay. She denies burning and pain and itching with urination. We've already counted GU. She denies fever and chills. We can count that for constitution. So we go back up here and check that box off. And then we go down, it says nausea and vomiting. We can count GI for gastrointestinal. Go back down, anything else? Let's see. She has decreased appetite. That again falls under the GI. Patient states she's had some UTIs. Again, the GU, pregnancy, GU. Otherwise, she's had an uncomplicated pregnancy. We're going to keep going though. Patient denies a history of hypertension. We can count cardiovascular for that. So we go up and check that box off. Cardiovascular. And then back down, diabetes, the endocrine system. So we go back up and check endocrine, wherever it is, right there. And then it says preeclampsia, again, GU. We've already counted it, so we don't get to count it again. She stated she's had some no irregular contractions, no bleeding. Again, this is all going to be GU again. She denies abdominal pain. We got the GI, so we can't count it again. She has good fetal movement. She has not had headaches. We can count for neuro, so we're going to check off that box for neuro up here. Visual changes, we can count that for eyes. Check off that box up there. And let's see. Or abdominal pain, that falls under GI. Okay, so we've counted all of these up, and that, if you count them all up, there's 6 bullets that we checked off here. So we're going to circle this extended column here. So we've circled this one, we're going to circle this one, and now we're going to go look and see if we can get a past medical history, family history, and or social history out of just this section that we've reviewed. Okay, now they give us a lot of history on what's been going on with her, so we can check off past medical history. Okay, the social history I got out of this, and this is where some critical thinking has to come into play, is social history is things like sexual behavior, substance uses like alcohol, marijuana, tobacco, that kind of thing, where they work, if they're going to school, those type of things. So I checked off social history because she's pregnant. So we know she's sexually active. It's a little bit of one of those shades of gray. Some coders might not count it as a social history. I would, because in past audits I've been involved in, I brought things up like this and they'd say, you know what, it is correct. You're thinking critically. You put some critical thinking in there to abstract that information. But it is, in fact, true. She is sexually active. So I would count 2 levels of social and past medical history for here. So I would go up here. Since it's the emergency department, we got to check it off down here. And we do past medical and social history. And we go over to the column that corresponds with that. We'd circle that. Okay. So now we have our 3 levels. We have extended, and this detailed level here. But the rule for selecting the level of history is based on the column that is marked the farthest to the left. So we have this one is the farthest to the left. So it would be a detailed history. Okay. So I just wanted to give you an overview of this. I'm going to go on. The next video will be on how to abstract the information out of the physical exam. And then we'll tie it all together at the end.